Okay, today we're going to talk about March 15th through the 20th. I'm going to give you more specifics about what's supposed to happen then. Will it happen? I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to give you all the details on what that is according to, well, Chris Bledsoe. If you don't know who he is, I'll explain that again. And if you didn't watch my other video about these predictions coming up, you might want to go watch that, but I'm going to cover everything today. But here's what I want to emphasize today. How do you prepare for this? I'm going to tell you exactly what's supposed to be happening out there and how we get ready for it, whether this thing happens or not. You're going to want to hear this no matter what, because this could be the turning point, not just for our planet, but for your entire life. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. I'm here to help you break through fear. If you guys haven't subscribed, I suggest you do and click that little bell so that you know when my next videos are coming out, because I'm going to be tracking this March 15th to 20th prediction, specific dates now, that Chris Bledsoe gave about something amazing and global is supposed to happen. Now, I'm going to go into the detail of exactly what he said. I just want you to know this is coming from his actual words. I broke it down, asked a bunch of questions, and got the results. I'm not just speculating here, because some of the things that he spoke about have changed. He's getting more specific now. So hope you subscribe. And those of you who want to be in my private membership, I do go in there, shoot extra videos. We meet live, and you get all these videos before anybody else, because I'm going to be on this. I'm going to be on this and anything else that's showing up that coincides with this amazing thing. Now, who is Chris Bledsoe? I shared with you last time who he was, but I'm going to recap this briefly. Chris Bledsoe was a builder. His company was worth like about, I think, $18 million. He employed 400 people. He admitted that he was a totally different person than that. He didn't even know anything about his assistant that was sitting up front, nor did he care. That completely changed when he lost everything. And he and a group of his workers, barely making ends meet, he was in a trailer home at this point, Chris and his family, terribly sick with Crohn's disease, depressed, really thinking the worst, goes out to this woody area for fishing with the guys. And he said, I'm going to go off on a walk on my own. He goes off. 4 hours later, they're looking for him. He says, what are you talking about? It was 20 minutes. And same thing happened with his son, who went after and looked for him and actually did see beings. Now, he says that 2 huge orbs had come, and he has a whole story about that. And I think we might have to cover that in an upcoming video. What are they? He actually has changed his story about what they are, not because he's making stuff up. He's changed how he thinks about these beings. And this is why we really want to talk about this, because this is what's going to happen coming up here, whether his predictions come true or not. This is already happening. And there are things that we want to name and label that are just beyond our comprehension. And that is the other beings that will start showing up, including all that assistance that we have out there that still cannot interfere with our free will. And this is why we're going to talk today about how you can prepare for anything coming. This is going to be critical for you, and it might be different than what you expect. So after he got abducted and got shown a lot of things about what was going to happen in our future, he was instantly healed of this Crohn's disease. That tells you something else was going on. And he got visited by these light beings and orbs since then. Now, for 5 years, nobody believed him. They threw him out of the church. People thought he was crazy. They were ready to burn him at the stake kind of thing. And after the 5 years, he said, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about this. It's not worth it. I'm not getting any assistance. That's it. Well, then this lady showed up who he likened to the Fatima appearance, like Mother Mary. And later on in the video, I'm going to tell you exactly what he thinks that is now. Because like I said, his story is changing because he's getting more of an understanding, not because he's just making new stuff up. But he at the time didn't know what she was, but she appeared to him and said, this is your burden to bear. And basically, you have to tell the world about this, but that we will allow you to film us so that you have proof that this stuff's really going on. And ever since that day, not only has she appeared every year right around Easter, Not on the exact date always, but right around Easter, she appears and gives him new messages. But in between, this guy is got orbs showing up. He's got all kinds of crazy things happening. And even groups like NASA, no matter what you think of them, NASA, the government, all kinds of people want to know what's going on with Chris Bledsoe. His messages have come true. The lady came to him. He's not doing it. He's getting this information. She told him, go in and lock your doors. Something big is coming. Well, I just told you that myself before that happened too. Didn't know what it was. He didn't know what it was. Sure enough, we had the huge lockdown. He has also predicted things like Israel and Iran exchanging missiles. That has come to fruition. That was about a year ago, and it's kicking off the rest of the events. So I'm telling you this so that you understand that these events are coming true that he has currently told us about. Now, once again, I just want to remind you, nothing is in stone, and everything that we are told can be changed. I'm going to also talk today about things like earthquakes and what's happening and how much we are actually in control of all of that. So he said 2026 is going to be a big year. There's going to be something huge that happens, thinking it's April, which he usually comes back. But now he has come up with, and I'll tell you how he came up with this, actual dates of March 15th through 20th. He is going to be in Paris on the 20th for an apparent big event that happens every 20 to 30 years. I'll share more about that too. So he's actually planning on being someplace, banking on the fact that these miracles are going to happen. Now, what is going to happen in 2026? It's preparing us for everything because A, our assistance out there isn't going to let us take ourselves down. We're a menace to ourselves. We know that. But there's a whole group of people going into spirituality and enlightenment that is changing things. And that is happening. And now he's talking more about that instead of the horrific things that he saw in vision for our future. The good part is awakening to God consciousness. Disclosure is going to be God is real. The divine connection to consciousness is going to be forefront for us. The return of the divine feminine. This lady, who I'll give you the definition here shortly, appears to him stating the powers in the heavens had shifted, and the divine feminine is returning to restore balance and peace after a time of trouble. Now, the missiles have fired off all kinds of things. We got Ukraine, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. We are going through trouble. We've got all kinds of stuff going on here in the United States that's insane, and it's not good. It's conflict. So what's happening? It's a time of trouble in many, many ways that's telling us that we are going into the divine feminine that's going to balance this out. The Iran-Israel conflict, it was a sign that when missiles are exchanged between Iran and Israel, the phenomenon would begin to come into this world to wake the people up and stop human suffering before it goes too far. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good. A Fatima-like event, a public spectacle similar to the miracle of Fatima, where the presence of the lady, this lady, is filmed and shown to the world to remove any shadow of doubt regarding the reality of these beings. Now, I know my friend Nikki, she sees orbs. A lot of you do. Some of you see actual light beings. We don't talk about it. We're going to start talking about it because these realities exist, always have. But now, as we go into spiritual expansion, we will have the capabilities to see and communicate with them, not in fear like we have been programmed. Boy, have we been programmed. Mass presence. He describes a vision of the phenomenon appearing in mass numbers at once. There will be government circles referring to it as a catastrophic disclosure because it would force the truth upon the world, bypassing the government control. They're going to lose their edge on us. We're going to expect everybody to behave like responsible citizens. Some of you have already increased your psychic abilities. More people will awaken and develop superpowers or psychic abilities such as remote viewing and telepathy. We are seeing that already. Increased empathy, deeply empathetic, caring, and open. You're going to find yourself not wanting to judge people anymore. Let it go. We're taking full responsibility now, peeps. Full responsibility. You cannot blame anybody. You can't talk about your parents. Poor little me pass. Get over it, all right? It's over with because you're a powerful, perfect human in this experience that is in school. All those things were wonderful gifts and teachings. And if you don't see it that way, it's time to switch the story. End of religious division. We're going to start going to spirituality. That's already happening. And he saw specific numbers in an orb that they filmed. I believe it was December of 2025 when some huge things happened. I know I shifted then. He saw symbols in these orbs that indicated March 15th and 20th of the current year as something really big. So let's talk. Who is this? What is this being? Of course, remember something. We're one, just one thing. So even angels and prophets and orbs and all of these, everything is still another role outside of the human experience. That's another teaching and another realm and another dimension. Those are still adventures too. It's not like we're humans and then we're that. If it appears as something separate, it's still source appearing as something that appears to be individual. It's still source. So they're playing a role. The Mother Mary, Fatima, plays a role. It's still something of a higher dimension of the one source. When you go higher up, nothing's separate. There are no labels or names. They don't have names over there. They do for us so that we understand what this is and who's helping me and who's talking to me. We do. We have protectors. We have angels. Who is this divine being? He identifies her as the divine feminine. He said he believes she represents a power returning to the world to restore balance. He describes her as this is the most recent, by the way. This is actually a few days ago. An angelic being who possesses a divine connection to consciousness. Again, he's not naming her. You can say Mother Mary, you can call her anything, but she's much bigger than that. In a vision, he saw her as a figure floating, glowing white, red eyes and a body glowing like glass. Her message centers on a transition into a new age of knowledge and consciousness. She talks about the new knowledge. Now, here's the important part, and this is where we get to prepare. We have a choice for humanity. This is Dolores Cannon. This is Edgar Cayce. Look at the many prophets, the true ones out there that saw the future not as some cataclysmic event, but a warning to tell us we have a choice here. We're at the crossroads. Somebody said Edgar Cayce didn't give dates, neither did Dolores Cannon. No, Bledsoe's given some, but no, they didn't. Why? Because it was so far in the future, they couldn't tell when we were going to get our act together. They just saw these events and they knew that there would be a split. So we always go by events, and I do in my videos. I'm saying, okay, these things that they say are happening is a convergence. So you'll hear me use that word. Convergence means these things indicate that we are at that point, and all of them indicate this point. The time of trouble, we started that in 2019 with the lockdown. That changed our lives forever. And of course, missiles exchange, that was going to kick off this new era that we're going into, exposing darkness, exposing all the crap. It's going to get worse. It's going to come up. You're going to see and hear things that are going to maybe not shock you, but we're not tolerating it anymore. We want the truth. No more lies. If you did something, come clean about it, because guess what? We've all done crap, but there's so many secrets going on and guarding things. Please let the disclosure of the government go. They will never disclose anything. Actually, Chris Bledsoe says this. They have secrets to hide. They have military to protect. They have things that they don't want other countries to have. Why would they tell the general public? Most of people don't even believe in this stuff anyways. There's an ignorance in humanity, as you know. Why would they tell? They're going to continue to control that. So quit looking for disclosure. We already have it. Some of you said it. We have it. We saw it down in Brazil. We've seen all kinds of things. How much more proof? Well, you're going to see it according to Chris Bledsoe. Unity of religions, God consciousness, and the promise of a public miracle. So why did things shift in December? I said it. I kept telling you on my videos, something big happened. He said that the World Forum in December, the phenomenon shifted suddenly and began acting differently than it had previously. Different color orbs are showing up, more green and gold. He said he hadn't seen those before. And a symbol showed up in a green orb that gave him a date. They studied it, and everyone agreed, apparently. They may be wrong. We'll find out. It was March 15th through the 20th. They interpreted these symbols from a flashing green orb, specific numbers and symbols. Here's what I want to talk to you about to prepare, because they're preparing now. Chris is going on a super secret mission in France. These are his words. He plans to be in a special place, he cannot disclose it, in France on March 20th. He describes his trip as a finding mission involving government scientists. These guys are now saying, okay, there's something to this, all right? We can't explain what's happening with him and how he knows these things and why these orbs show up. There's a lot more to what he knows also, and a location where something magical, that's where they're going to, something magical reportedly happens every 20 or 30 years. So Chris and his scientific team believe that the green orb represents the specific timing to fulfill the lady's wish. He anticipates this will eventually lead to a public spectacle, and that will be the dates. Now, who knows what 15th through 20th means, but something big's going to happen, and he's going to be in France because he believes that that is the place where some big event is going to happen, but it's going to be visible to millions of people for proof. He's increasing his observation. He stated he would be on it every day during that March window and through the rest of the year to gather data on the phenomenon. So if it doesn't happen, let's not call the guy out, right? Something's going to happen then. He's going to be following it, but this is the year. But he views these upcoming events as part of a larger transition or awakening for humanity, moving away from a time of trouble and toward a new age of consciousness. Okay, before he wasn't telling the future because he saw horrible things. And now he's getting a much better message. After these years of him seeing this and not disclosing it, he's said the other day, for the first time, told what those visions were. Because the message is that we have a time of awakening. Yes, there's good news. So his sources say, humans have the power to manifest their reality through a divine connection to consciousness. It's not a person or an angel that's going to grant you something. You're actually doing it. I saw a near-death experience story, and this gal said she's talking to God, supposedly source, right? You know, who am I to dispute that? And she says, where were you when I was going through all these things? And he says, guess what? It wasn't me. You were doing it. And you could have changed it at any time. In fact, I gave you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and you stayed right where you were. And that's how it works. Now let's talk about preparing. That's how it works. So those of you saying, waiting for something, I'm praying, are still separating yourself from the power that you are. The conscious thoughts that you have are creating. If you think you aren't good enough, or you see something in your life that just isn't right, and you think of yourself as that person, then you will remain in that space. You have to make the change and become somebody completely new. You have to stop being who you were. I did it. I loved where I was, but I knew I had something else I wanted to go to. I'm launching the Conscious Creator Vault. You'll get free stuff, but you'll learn about that. I knew that we were going into something much bigger, and I had to shift my training into that space, work more on my YouTube channel, and I took on a contract with a television network to inspire people. It's awesome. You'll learn more about that. What are you doing that you need to switch over to in your life? Even if you're successful, you're doing well, maybe it's time to focus on the things that are most important to you, that contribute to the world, that changes lives. The little things are what change lives. So here's what I want to share with you. This is important. I want to talk about the cataclysmic events the planet Earth is going to spew out. This is due to the frequency. What happens when we're in low frequency? We pollute. This translates in the physical world. It's not like, oh, the low frequency causes earthquakes. No, the low frequency causes 2,000 nuclear tests. Did you know we've had 2,000? Guess who's 1 and 2? Yep, Russia and the United States. Right? China's actually way down there. We've got India, we've got all kinds of countries testing nuclear bombs. They actually have, this is actual science, these are actual events, have created earthquakes. That's a fact. 2,000 nuclear tests. Do you think for a minute that hasn't caused all kinds of damage to her? Nuclear, the animals, everything in that soil, in the air, it's damaged our planet. That alone is damaging our air quality, our nature. And then we're looking at those planes saying, oh, they're dumping chemicals while you're drinking out of your plastic bottle and buying junk food and processed food. This has to change. I'm going to get real serious here. And I'm going to get more serious as we go through this year, because if you do not make these choices, I'm affected. Your children are affected. Your grandkids are affected. And they are going to live with the garbage that we said was okay. What are you buying? What are you doing? Can you make a higher choice? Of course you can. You can always make a higher choice. Get away from the plastic. Get away from the toxins. Why do kids get sick? Why are they born? They've got these diseases and stuff because we have it in our bodies and we're passing it on genetically to them. And we say that there's a cure. Yeah. Guess what's in our soil, what's on our plants, what we're eating? It has to end. Those of you in Europe, they don't spray your crops over there. They're spraying the heck out of it here. And we're eating it. This is ending. Why? Because we will refuse to participate. That is your mission. And guess what? It's not going to put anybody out of business. It's going to force them to make higher choices and give us the stuff that we will purchase. I'm not looking to harm anybody, corporations or our government. But our message is you have to make different choices because we're not going along with this anymore. Do you own stocks? What stocks do you own? Yeah. Take a look at everything in your life. Full responsibility. 100% you. Why? You are whole and perfect. You are a co-creator. You're doing everything in your life. And everything that shows up as a challenge is you to make a different choice. And some of these choices will be repairing some of the things you've done to get yourself, let's say, with debt or financial decisions that you've made that haven't been good, relationship decisions, health decisions. What's going on? Take a look and say, how can I repair that? And how do I restore balance in that? You can. It's no big deal. Don't feel bad about any of this stuff. No matter what your situation, you can change it. If you're angry, if you're on here criticizing anything, you're still in the basement. If you can't find anything good in other people, your boss, your job, anything, then maybe you have to make some changes, big ones. This will be required because these gifts of psychic abilities and telepathy and healing and all this stuff, well, you can't do it on the low frequencies. Now, you have some of these abilities, it's possible, but you're not going to do it on the highest frequency. So the results will not be what you truly desire. Because the material world and that manifestation, because you can master it on a low frequency. Low frequencies do it all the time. Just look at our world. They're great at it. Why? They believe. But they're doing it on a low frequency. Just remember that. Manifestation happens on every level, low or high frequency. It's the frequency that determines the result. Are we creating peace, compassion, community, giving, abundance for all? I'm on a high frequency. I'm service to others, which includes you. You're included in that. If I'm serving self, then I have people hoarding, fighting with one another, trying to get their ways, arguing, and I can manifest that all day. Some of you don't because your beliefs are that you can't have abundance. You can't be well. Somebody else is the reason why you are, traumatized. That's a story you can change too. I know it doesn't seem, you don't know my past. Listen, I've heard it all. And I've seen people in the worst situations turn it around and see it as the biggest gift ever. I mastered it. This is what you must do. This is preparation because you don't want to miss these events while you're working on all this. And we're going to be working on it. It doesn't happen overnight. It's because there's continuous challenges that allow you to go up and up and up the leaderboard, right? This is required. So these things that happen on the planet that's taking us down are coming from low frequency decisions and they're turned into actions. All right? So low frequency decision is, I think this is horrible. Somebody said, what about, the children and all these things? And my question to you is, what are you doing about it? You see, we should ignore it. Show me one video where I ever said that. I'm trying to act emotional about this, putting a little drama in here. Environmental influence, the biblical idea that with enough faith, a human could speak to the mountain and it would crumble into the sea. He believes humanity is capable of greater things than have been historically recorded. We're going to start seeing it. We got to do it on that high frequency, right? Heightened empathy, more caring for animals, deeply empathetic toward others, suffering, shifting away from ego-driven or materialistic behaviors. And guess what? When you do that, the gateway is open because you're not confining yourself. I have to have this and this. Now you're saying, I am all these things. And all of a sudden, gifts, you'll win things and people come into your life you never expected. You'll get jobs you never even dreamed of because you're no longer trying to control what that is. This is the key to master manifestation, is not defining exactly what it is. I desire, and I said this, I desire to work with a client that's doing good things for other people that I'm so excited every day to work with them and that it feels good and that everybody in the company is caring. That's exactly what I got. And I didn't say what it was. And I got a contract with a television network, inspiring people to do amazing things in their lives. Yeah, I'm going to tell you more about that. If you're interested, I'm actually a casting manager. So if you have a good story, tell me about it. We have a whole series just on women. These are stories you're going to hear more and more. And now we're going to emphasize that, not the conspiracies and the fear. That's all programming. Walk away from it. Remember, you are the algorithm director. In here, if I stop buying things, the human algorithm says that that company will stop making it or go under because they're putting crap on the shelves and we're not buying it. What do I stop watching on YouTube or television? Those in authority change what they give you because you're over here, so they want to be over there. Well, give them more of that. You're in control. I'm in control. We're co-creators. We're totally manifesting everything. It's all choice, all of it. I stop blaming those people who did whatever to me, and I say, you know what? Thank you. You're my best teacher. If I can master this forgiveness and stop blaming you, and understand that I absolutely agreed to participate on some level, I still had a choice on what I did or thought after that, no matter how horrific it is. And I know some of you don't want to believe it. That's not taking responsibility because that is the master test. Congratulations if you did that. You're mastering. It's like you came here and said, yes, I'm going to go into some serious abuse. I did that last time, but I want to really get tested this time, and I want to show compassion toward the worst behavior. There you go. Congratulations. Welcome to the leaderboard. So how did Chris get these specific dates? He discovered codes by running raw video files of a green orb through his computer. He observed that the orb was flashing specific symbols and numbers. I saw it. It looked fake. I don't think this guy's lying. He immediately identified the flashing symbols as the specific sign he had been looking for to move forward with his work. So it's green light for him. Green orb too. Specific dates, the window of March 15th through March 20th. The timing for a miracle, he's going to be in France during this time, and he views the appearance of these codes as evidence that the heavens are forcing disclosure upon humanity. Everything's going to be revealed. So much has been hidden. That science is going to go out the window because it's limiting. And there are no limits. None. Nothing is faster than the speed of light. Guess what? Galaxies are moving away from us faster than the speed of light. That one went out the window. So the heavens are forcing disclosure upon humanity. He believes the phenomenon is moving from a period of relative secrecy into a phase of mass presence to wake the people up and stop human suffering before it goes too far. For Bledsoe, the code serves as the green light to begin gathering the definitive data and film evidence he believes will eventually transform global consciousness. I agree. Okay, so here's what we need to do. 100%. So let's recap this. Humanity's going to go into mass disclosure. Everything's coming to the forefront, and an event that's going to show the world this is all real and we cannot deny it anymore. What are you going to do? 100% responsibility. I am a participant and co-creator, so nothing happened without my participation. Choices. Everything in my life that I don't want, I can change because I'm making the choice. And as Source said to this NDE, woman who was told that she felt like, she was left behind. You weren't with me. He said, actually, I was always with you, giving you choices, and you just didn't take them. Right? We've got some funny little stories about that. The ministers in the church, it's raining, the water's coming up. Stay, everybody, we'll be safe. And some people leave, it gets higher. More people leave, it starts to come up. The pews are floating around. He says, don't, God will save us, God will save us. Next time he's on the roof, everybody's left. And so God will save us, God will save us. A boat goes by and he says, Minister, get in the boat. God will save me. And he's like, okay, a helicopter comes by, you know the drill. And then finally he drowns and goes to the pearly gates. And he says, why didn't you save me? He says, well, I sent you a helicopter, a boat, and a raft. I don't know what else you expected. That's it. You're getting them all day, but you have to open yourself up and know that you can change anything, that you are perfect, that everything exists for everyone equally, equally. Now, the role you chose, you might say, but I'm not equal. Yeah, because you chose it, because you're challenging yourself. That's it. It's a planet of teachings, and it's one of the lowest. If we got any lower, we'd blow ourselves up. But again, it's not going to be allowed because there are things that we don't know about who and what we are, and that's going to be disclosed. So we'll talk more about that. And as we get closer to the March 15th through 20th, we're going to start paying attention. Now, again, he thought that she would show up. He never had dates prior to that. Because she shows up in April, he thought it was going to be April, but he didn't know. Now he's defining these dates and her. She's the intelligent consciousness of all. He's not saying she's Mother Mary anymore. She is the accumulation and power of all these things, much greater than that, a symbol of source. Are you ready for this? We're going to get more answers, more disclosure on our level. Quit taking sides, judging, or separating. If you want to participate in the penthouse, it awaits you. Everyone has access to the floors. Everyone. Don't skip those floors. You got to clear some things out. Oh, I have to manage my relationships better. Oh, I'm judging. Okay, I mastered that. Uh-oh, I need to be more giving. I need to serve others more. Bingo. I will pour your champagne personally. So again, go down in the description. I have clean water filters. You have discounts. I have non-toxic tooth bites. Somebody correct, teeth bites. Those don't come in plastic. They're not poison when you put in your mouth. I've got cleaning supplies by Blue Land down there. You'll get a discount if you click on that. You can go to my Amazon store. If you hate Amazon, fine. But there's some great businesses in there that are flourishing because of the exposure they get, and I support all of them. All right, so go in there and explore. LandriaOnkka.com. Free inspiration takes you into free master classes, and I will announce the Conscious Creator Vault. It's a membership. Every 30 days, you get 3 different trainings. One is soul, another one's sustainability. The other one is basically, how are you earning? What are you contributing? How do I make money without destroying the planet? I'll give you all kinds of guidance because we have to have all of these areas of our lives. And I realized I'm just going to put all my teaching into one spot because you are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.